doesn't know who Lynn Tichenor-Ladner is, she is the PTK president and CEO. I've been to a lot of events and conventions and stuff with PTK in the past, and she loves to jump in and take pictures with you. And if you ever get to meet her, she loves dachshunds, so that's a good starting point to talk with her about. She posts on Facebook regularly. She's very personable, excellent president of our organization. And the headquarters are located in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm just going through all of these things here. And who knows, one day you could even work there. And I'm talking about the hallmarks of PTK. There's 4 main hallmarks, which are leadership, fellowship, scholarship, and service. And then I wanted to talk about some benefits of membership, which are PTK offers high-end scholarships, opportunities to network all over the country with other members. And I've come to find that members are very accepting of each other. It's very diverse. You make new friends. You create a lot of wonderful memories. Membership can also help you find your voice as a leader in your college and community, and it could even open doors for you occupationally, which has even helped me quite a bit. Now, let's see. So now I'm getting to alumni status. I'm trying to hurry just a little bit because we have a full schedule. And now my talking points are stuck. Hold on. So PTK doesn't end after graduation. You can become an alumni, and here we go. So you can become an alumnus and be welcome to participate in community service still. You can give back to your college chapter by offering to speak to potential members at their meetings or even induction ceremonies. And I wanted to add, when you get that little membership pin, there's 3 Greek words on there. And then the meaning, I put the meanings are wisdom, aspiration, and aspiration and purity. And I only added this because typically PTK has traditionally a yearly competition of trivia called Cactus Bowl. And that's where the chapters compete against each other. So these Greek words are usually thrown in there. Now that was back when it was all face-to-face, so I don't know if they're still doing it virtually. And then some of the activities and events, they're going to be chapter meetings, induction ceremonies, Regional Honors Institute, PTK Catalyst is the international convention, PTK Awareness Week, which is coming up soon. And there's even an email newsletter called The Reach, which is full of lots of information that you would probably want to read. Okay, next, I'm done with that. Okay, John.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Everybody, thanks for being here tonight. Basically, tonight we're doing an overview of some scholarship opportunities. We're not going into a great deal of depth, but we can go into depth we can go into more detail with you in the next several weeks if you would like, either as a group or individually if you want to contact us, okay? The idea tonight is to stimulate your interest and to make you aware to some extent of some of the awards out there. There are many, many, many scholarships out there, okay? But part of the challenge is to figure out what scholarships are good for you, what scholarships do you have a good chance to get and to, you know, to win in a sense, and what scholarships are going to be more difficult for you. And part of that is looking at the criteria and looking at how much time you have, things like that. But the key is, no matter what, you need to invest some time and effort to be good candidates in the scholarship, okay? A few different things about scholarships. There's different types of awards. Right now, you're all, even the students in high school who are dual enrollment students, you're also considered community college students. So there's scholarships at the community college level. There's scholarships that, you know, can be used at the community college or bachelor's. And there's also bachelor's level scholarships, or what we call transfer scholarships. Okay, go ahead and move ahead, Lily. I'm not going to click on all of these links here tonight, but these links are here so when I send you out this PowerPoint, you can explore this a little more yourself. The MCCCD is Maricopa County Community College District. That's us. We are one of 10 schools in Maricopa County, and there's a foundation, which is a nonprofit that supports us. Right now, they have an application process open that is for spring semester. In other words, the deadline, as you see here, is October 16th for most of the scholarships. And basically the scholarships are for the small or spring semester. But there are also some emergency aid scholarships. I know one of you mentioned it's not fun to be poor, or you used more explicit language. Thank you for drawing our attention there. But there are some emergency aid assistant grants going on right now through the foundation, so that might be a good place to look if you're really tight with money right now. Maricopa, the district, also had some awards, but they are fewer awards, okay? And again, if you have questions about any of these, we can follow up with them at a later date. But this is designed to have you explore these on your own to some extent too. These are for the community college only. PTK Leaders of Promise. This will be coming up in the spring. It's a Phi Theta Kappa scholarship. And there's a League for Innovation scholarship that is coming up. I think it's due at the end of October, but I think you have to be nominated by your college. I sent you, one of you already this, you have to be interested in technology fields, okay? Again, but look at this link when I send it to you. I'll try to get it out to everybody tomorrow. Or I mean this PowerPoint, I'll get it out to everybody tomorrow. And when you have time and you have an hour or so, click around and explore scholarships. Okay, Lily, let's go to the next slide. One particular, for all of you in Arizona, one particular organization or foundation that I want you to really be aware of is the Arizona Community Foundation. They have quite a few scholarships themselves. They serve the entire state of Arizona, but most of their scholarships open in January of 2021. So you don't have to be in a rush for them as much. But just wanted you to be aware of that. PTK Connect, that's on the Phi Theta Kappa website. Those are mostly transfer scholarships. I haven't explored all of them there, but there may be some community college scholarships there too. I'm not exactly sure. Go ahead, Lily. Now, these are the PTK administered awards. For some of them, you have to be Phi Theta Kappa members. For others, you do not have to be, okay? The first one is the All Arizona and then the All USA Academic Team. Right now, we are focusing on the All Arizona Academic Team. What that means is that each college in Arizona is allowed to nominate 2 students to be on this team. And so we're going to go through an application process. This information will be coming out maybe even tomorrow or by Monday for sure. But the All Arizona team, you'll be getting an email and you'll see this information. You do not have to be a Phi Theta Kappa member, but it oftentimes helps to be a member and be active in things. Our internal deadline to be eligible for this is the 26th of October. So you have about 5 to 6 weeks on that, okay? It'll be at, I think, 8 a.m. on the 26th of October. And then Coca-Cola goes hand in hand with All Arizona and All USA. So if you're chosen as one of the 2 students for All Arizona, then you apply for All USA. That's how it goes. The Heights and Geistweit Scholarship, those are not nomination specific. You can apply for Heights and Geistweit on the Phi Theta Kappa website, but those are, you have to be members of Phi Theta Kappa for that. But please let us know if you want to talk about these things in the next several weeks, okay? Go ahead, Lily. Now here's some other scholarships. I want to make you aware of of the variety of scholarships out there, not only right now, but for the future also. These scholarships that are listed are on the Phi Theta Kappa website under the heading, I believe, of other scholarships or something like that. The Jack Hank Cook Foundation is probably sponsors the nicest scholarship out there. They provide up to $40,000 a year if needed for your education at schools throughout the country. It's a very competitive scholarship, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't apply for it. I've already talked to at least one of you people on the call tonight about this. It's something to consider. The Hispanic, this is another example, Hispanic Scholarship Fund. If you're from a Hispanic background, there may be opportunities for you through scholarship monies. I don't know, I think their deadlines are in the spring, but you could look at that a little more in detail yourself, or let us know if you have questions. Then I put one example of a interesting scholarship, the Fulbright U.S. Student Program. That's usually for study abroad or after you graduate from a bachelor's program to be able to study or work abroad in a foreign country. So I want you to be aware of these opportunities for the future, not only right now, but down the line, there's going to be opportunities. And even on this website, the other scholarship links on PTK, please look around if you're interested, because there are some scholarships or grant opportunities for studying abroad. And probably the best way to look at scholarships is to first talk to the school you want to apply for or the school you want to attend. NAU is highlighted there because they have a NAU scholarship for $4,000 a year for PTK transfer members. If you're transferring to NAU, you could get up to $4,000 a year as a PTK member as long as you go full time. But whatever you do, even if you're dual enrollment students or whatever, I would recommend that you check with the colleges you're going to apply to see what kind of financial packages they have. Go ahead, Lily. And then last but not least, I just want to click on, Lily, click on this resource just for a second. So this has some scholarship resources on it on this page. Not necessarily specific scholarships, but guidance for different scholarships or just tips. So you may want to look at some of this. This is just a link you can click, and there's further links. This is sponsored by PTK. Further links you can click on to just get information on best practices and even some common errors when submitting an application, okay? So there's a number of different resources here. Go ahead, you can close this one, Lily. So we're back here, and that kind of ends my quick overview. It was intentionally quick simply because we want to make you aware that there are opportunities out there, but now we want to move on to just talk a little more in detail about tips to be successful as scholarship applicants.
Okay, back to me. So the biggest thing with applications and telling your story is answer the question. Don't get sidetracked and veer off track. Focus on the question that's being posed to you. And did you know that it typically takes, on average, a judge will decide within 60 seconds if your application is going to go to the next round or the reject pile? And a good tip would be to, whatever organization is awarding the scholarship, you should research their mission, their goals. You could even enhance your story by weaving some of their applicable elements into your story. Show them that you're worth their investment. It's important. That's why it's important to have a compelling story that'll convey to the judging panel that you're worth their investment. And what judges like to see is to, that's conveying your story, is to be positive and have enthusiastic stories. You can also share what you've done with PTK or in your community, not what you intend to do. PTK scholarships tend to be merit-based, not need-based, so it's really important to keep accurate records of anything you've accomplished. Maybe probably going back at least a couple of years or more. And some applicants didn't realize that they can actually write about how they can be viewed as a role model to their younger siblings, to their young relatives, and that in turn can inspire those siblings and relatives to become involved in PTK and give back to their community. Regarding the conclusions are just as important as in introductions because they're scholarship judges' last impression of your story. And then we're going down to reference letters. Don't wait to let your references know when you need their reference. You need to provide them with information what the scholarship's about, how they need to structure it, their method of delivery, and when to submit it. And what I always did when I did scholarship applications, I added 2 weeks to the actual deadline to give my reference some wiggle room to get it done. And also, if you do get awarded a scholarship, it's really nice to send a handwritten thank you note. Next slide. Here's the reference book I use. I believe it was the chapter that I came from. I believe it was printed or written in 2009, but it's full of so much information, primarily from judges' perspective, so you really get to see the other side of it and what they like and what they don't like. Next, please. Oh, and then that book is, you can see it's available in the Rio Library, an ebook. I would highly recommend reading it. Once you start, you won't want to stop reading it. Now for the don'ts for the application part, sob stories. Now judges have said that they're commonly submitted, but they don't want stories that's going to try to evoke pity. I had one quote from some quotes from judges saying, "We're not giving the award to the best sob or woe is me story, so please don't give us that kind of essay." Because many students do really submit similar types of sob stories, but really if you've experienced some challenges and obstacles, it's better to put the spin on it of explain how you overcame them with solutions. And judges don't really want to see negativity, pessimism, and criticism. And one last thing is don't delay working on your application or your story, start early. Sometimes I used to tear mine up and rewrite them again, but it's good to get a good early start because you may want to do several rewrites. And I'm done with that slide. Inye next.
Oh, thank you, Vicky. Didn't recognize my slide. So let me time myself. Okay, so this is more like I did do a brief interview with Foundation Scholarship Coordinator, mainly for my own students who I was teaching back then. So I just want to give you the baseline, what it is that they're looking for. And then and I have a bonus story that I would like to share with you. So there are 4 sort of essential components. So it's kind of baseline. If you don't have that components, it's more likely that you will not get advanced to the next poll. Just FYI. So number 1 would be, is your story compelling? You know, just like Vicky mentioned, that we get so many applications to read and, you know that we are not getting paid additionally. So this is purely from our heart, volunteer work, our love, basically for you all. So, you know, we have a timeline to meet, that sort of thing. So, you know, it's the first impressions, right? It's as short as the, you know, how long the, you know, bubble would last. So just to remember when you, for example, first story would be, you know, quickly introduce yourself, just to really, you know, focus on that, you know, every single one of your sentence is really critical. Number 2, are there grammatical errors in your writing? I don't really want to talk about this as a composition faculty member because in my mind, it's a given. It's a common sense. So again, it's a first impression. Take it as your mini kind of job interview. That right? That's huge. So let's say if it's in the paper, it's your resume. Typically speaking, it's not unheard of that we just toss that or put it on the file. So just to remember that it's a common courtesy. You show the respect to the faculty and evaluation team. And then the third component is your goal is stated clearly. So I know when you apply for community college scholarship, you're clearly working towards 2-year degree. What we don't talk about it often is that as a evaluator, as a foundation as a whole, at least for our district, we want to see your 4-year plan. Let's say if you apply for the more like a vocation-oriented program, then we want to see it, where you would be working, where you are going to do your internship, practical, so on and so forth. So I put it as an example that I know it's kind of very mechanic, but this is exactly what I got from a scholarship coordinator. So they want to see all the components, plan to transfer to your desired university. Month would be better, right? Fall of 2020, then upon graduation from your university with a bachelor degree of X major in spring of 2023, then you'll work at Y company. So that's kind of, we literally treat as math formula, that's something that kind of bare bone minimum kind of baseline that you want to address. Number 4, do you have any volunteer experience? And this is what it can get a little bit trickier. And I want to share, if you have a lot of volunteer experience would be apparently much better. But let's say you don't have a whole lot of volunteer experiences. I know quite a few of you are there. I wrote down my notes that quite a few of you are like senior of high school. That's just fine. Don't ever sell yourself short. So what that means is, just amplify your sports, your club activities, even if you're working even part-time or full-time. I notice a lot of my own students working full-time. Don't shy away from mentioning that, just to really emphasize on, what sort of leadership experience that you are, utilizing daily basis. What are some of opportunities, how you reach out to the community, how you're helping your fellow members, classmates. So all those little things count, so don't ever discount that. And then this is kind of, I just want to emphasize again, I just put like 3 bullet points on what it is that I want to talk to you today about, kind of 3 statements. So again, I already mentioned that don't tell yourself shorts. Don't think so much about you're competing against the rest of the pool. Your uniqueness is your strength. So really focus on telling your story out of 200% of your heart. So in other words, explain more than try to impress. Second, don't assume that you'll get it. So one of kind of sad experience for me is that there's assumption or kind of entitlement for some of the applicants, not obviously not all of them. And that's kind of reminder for myself. And you know, for example, something like, oh, it would be nice to get it so that I can pay for the car insurance, right? So there is a like assumption like, okay, I do have good enough coverage for my tuition. This would be good to get. Don't say that. If you want to say that, I would even suggest reconsider about applying it. So goes hand in hand with the last one. So really quickly, your stories, any information that you're sharing with evaluators will keep in 100% confidentiality. So don't ever feel shy about, am I sharing too much? It's a little bit embarrassed to talk about this. That's why we are here for, and we are trained to do it. So don't feel shy about it. It's gonna be keeping confidentiality 100%. And then lastly, do not feel comfortable with where you're at. It's kind of tied back to stories that I shared earlier, that, you know, write as if this is your last and only option. Because, you know, those of you took 101 and 102, you learn about persuasive writing style, right? So you wanna really convey that tone of voice, that, you know, you wanna be sincere. You wanna really try to convince your grader that this is your only and last option. And it does come through. So for example, the one example that I can think of is that person was still working, and he or she mentioned that, you know, even though, you know, he's getting supported for tuition, he has 2 or 3 other siblings, so he has that responsibility to take care of his siblings and that sort of thing. So that's kind of my my slides.
One other point I want to bring up, we have somebody who's not here with us tonight. His name is Todd AKAs, Dr. Todd AKAs. He works in our alumni area and with development here at Rio Salado, but he's also a good resource. If you want to talk to somebody about more about scholarships, you certainly can reach out to us, but Todd is a good resource also. He works a lot with the foundation, the Community College Foundation, the Maricopa Foundation. He does a lot with alumni stuff in terms of Rio Salado alumni. And so we have different resources we can look into, including if you're interested in learning more about things like internships, things like that. He has a variety of, you know, involved in different types of involvement, both with the college and the community. So he's a good contact. And Todd wanted to just mention to us that he wanted us to make sure that you're aware of him as a resource, and we could have him talk sometime to our group if people are interested. Go ahead, Inhe, next. Okay, this is your, I think Inhe, this is your, or not Inhe, Lily, this is your slide.
John is mixing up his colleagues. Okay, so this is the slide. Hi, everybody. This is the announcement now. But before we go to announcements, I want to kind of stop for a minute, and I'm going to stop sharing. And I want to give you guys about 10 minutes for asking questions. And kind of, I know we have the chat going, but I don't see anything in the chat. But this is your time to kind of say hey or yay or ask questions. So take it away, unmute yourself, and ask us questions.
I was wondering, because do you have to know exactly what college you're going into? Because I plan on applying out of state, but obviously I don't know yet. So do you have to know and be accepted into a college before you can claim application?
No, typically no, unless the scholarship calls for a specific college. I mean, the different colleges, Nicole, or whoever, you know, is on the Zoom call here that you're looking into, you're always going to want to look, I mean, in terms of making your decision, your financial aid and scholarship package will most likely influence decisions, okay? Money is going to come from the school if you're a good student, okay? And so, but some of these external scholarships, you do not need to know what, when I say external from the schools you're applying to. You do not need to know specifically what college you're going to apply to or what college you're going to go to. They may ask you what colleges you're applying to, and then you can just be honest in telling them. But you don't have to have it figured out, because most people don't have it figured out until the spring of their senior year of high school.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I've had a couple questions about the All Arizona team. So let me clarify that a little bit for people. And that was brought up before. I'm going to be sending out our internal, when I say internal for Rio Salado, there'll be an email going out possibly tomorrow, should be by Monday, if not tomorrow, a document that will talk about the All Arizona Scholarship. You have the opportunity to, if you meet the criteria, and the criteria will be listed in this document, you have the ability, an opportunity to apply for it. You would submit the document directly to Rio Salado, to us, because it's the All Arizona Scholarship, like I briefly alluded to earlier. They are chosen by the colleges. We select 2 students every year from Rio Salado who get the All Arizona Scholarship, but it's a competitive process. So we're going to send this essentially a request for applicants. It's a document, but it's essentially a request for applicants. And the questions will be right there. And then the 2 people who are chosen for, or anyway, that deadline will be October 26th or October 25th or 26th. I think it's the 26th, before the day begins, essentially. And, but so it'll be up to you. If you meet the criteria, you can certainly apply for that scholarship. And let me tell you about the All Arizona Scholarship, why it's a very nice scholarship. And I didn't really touch on this so much before. The All Arizona Scholarship, the 2 students who are chosen get 2 years of free tuition at the colleges, one of the 3 public universities. So either Northern Arizona University, Arizona State University, or a University of Arizona. And like Vicki was mentioning earlier, it's a merit-based scholarship. So in this case, in many cases, scholarships look at need. In this case, they do not look at need. They look at grades to some extent, but also engagement with the community, engagement with your schools. And you will see that when you get the document in the next few days, you'll see the questions on there that you need to answer. And after you get this document, if you have more questions, just contact us. We're happy to help. I know one of my favorite activities every year is working with students on their goals, including their scholarship applications. So don't hesitate to reach out to people. And I think probably all of us advisors, or certainly most of us, feel the same way about that. And hopefully I gave some basics on All Arizona, because I've had a couple questions about that. But what I would recommend is that you look at the application when it goes out in the next few days, read it over carefully, and then if we want to talk more about it, we can. Okay, Vaughn has a good question. Vaughn says, he has a question. Let me pull it up from the chat. Question about programs that will allow me to study out of the country. Are there any other than the Fulbright? I eventually want to study the European system of accounting. Okay. Vaughn, I have a couple questions for you. Number one, are you a dual enrollment student, or are you well out of high school and, you know, just going through college like many of our college students? Okay. And the reason I was asking about well out of high school, there's one opportunity for dual enrollment students who are in high school called the Flynn Scholar. I think it's called Flynn Scholars. It's by the Flynn Foundation, which is an Arizona-based foundation. And they have a beautiful scholarship. I think it's mostly a full ride to one of the 3 public schools in Arizona, or close to a full ride. But they also offer opportunities to study abroad. But getting back to your question, Vaughn, there is on the scholarship link that says others on the PowerPoint. They will talk about a couple other things, at least travel abroad